adrenaline flowing just to see all of the familiar faces, the old friends and the new friends who are with us here. We carried out the second modern NEMEA. You'll remember that the first NEMEA Games in modern times, taking place in the ancient stadium, occurred in 1996. On June 4th of this year, we had the second modern NEMEA, reproducing as nearly as possible the ancient situation. With the ancient locker room, you see the columns here, protected once again by scaffolding, a modern tent going up over the locker room so that we could use it to change our clothes in. Flags of the 45 countries that were represented in the second NEMEA, as opposed to the 29 countries that had been represented in the first NEMEA. Who volunteered to serve as judges and slaves, had to have their little training period, and the stadium track had to be prepared, the ancient starting mechanism, the hits plex set up, the lines laid out, but finally everything came together, and on the morning of June the 3rd, under the flags of Greece, the United States, the Society for the Revival of the NEMEA Games, and the University of California, the games came back to life again. The crowds came. This year we had some 760, 770 runners. That was nearly 150 more than we had. So the increase in runners and the increase in the number of countries represented were very, very encouraging. Once again, in the locker room, in addition to the athletes being prepared, the judges had to be dressed in the traditional black as they were worn in antiquity. These guys just won't learn. They have to be pinned up all the time. With their switches to flog any athletes who got out of line, just as happened in antiquity. I have to report that flogging was at a minimum. And then finally, there was time for the games to begin. The herald and the trumpeter in antiquity would have come in at this point. We had a trumpeter on loan from the Greek army. We had two heralds, one a Greek speaker, one an English speaker. Our bilingual herald was actually bi-headed as well. And then the judges came in, led by the starter, the man who in 1974 had unearthed the starting line way back at the beginning of our excavations. Here, the local farmer, Theodosis Zavitsis, playing the role of the starter for races, and a variety of local people coming on as the judges at this point. The opening ceremonies took place with the backdrop of the flags and a couple of thousand people at that point there. The crowd later grew in size. The Corinth choir sang the national hymn of Greece and the Olympic hymn. Chancellor Bertel gave us a few words of welcome, and the then Minister of Culture of Greece lighted the flame on top of the altar, and the games could begin. And this is the first group ready to come out of the locker room. They're out of the locker room, about to go into the tunnel. John Carney of San Francisco is a judge together with our local postman. We have Dick Amix in the background. There should be Kinsey Anderson right here, both of them in the crowd tonight, and led by 93-year-old LeGrand Nielsen, in California. Remember that LeGrand was with us when he was 89 back in 1996. He was here again at the games, running both in the short and in the long distance races. This time he brought his children with him. He was very nervous that since they were only in their 60s, they might beat him. The track to the starting line to draw the lots out of the helmet that would give the lane assignments. The race begins with athletes entering from the tunnel, drawing their lots out of the helmet, and curling their toes into the ancient starting line, just as was done in antiquity. We have a California contingent here. Jacques Lele, Neil Mira, and Robert Berdal are part of this group running down the track. There were other Californians exerting themselves, Darrell Horn and Peter Frazier, and actually Darrell Horn, an alum of the University of California, Berkeley, took the palm branch and the ribbon in this race. Others were not victorious, but at least they had the privilege of running together with very distinguished company. The diplomatic corps in Athens supported us. There were no fewer fewer than 15 different ambassadors to Greece from 15 different countries who came. These are the ambassadors of Colombia, India, and Denmark. Another group ready to go into the tunnel to participate with the ambassador of Lithuania, of South Africa, and of Great Britain. Crowds come through, the spirit of getting into your bare feet and going through the ancient tunnel was as strong as ever. And as in 1996, we again mounted photographs, full life-size photographs of the walls of the tunnel in an attempt to discourage modern graffiti from going on the ancient walls, but encouraging people to sign this kind of guest book that becomes a part of our permanent record of people who have participated. The ambassador of the United States of America to Greece was a part of the race again. You see him, the Honorable Nicholas Burns, looking not quite so honorable in his bare feet. The track, being a good sport, and the races went on, and I will say again, as I have in the past, with no false humility at all, the starting mechanism worked and worked and worked. We must have got that right. The spirit of competition almost always entered into it, even though people feigned indifference. There's something about putting your toes in that ancient starting line, leaning out and having the starters shout out the ancient Greek call, get ready, poda para poda. Put your feet by your foot by your foot, get ready and apite, take off. Big people, little people, all ages got involved in the spirit of running on the track. Just to emphasize to you the international participation in this, on the left are two Americans, Athena Trakadas and Tanya Shavlansky, two of our staff members from NEMEA, two young ladies from Colombia, from Greece, from Hungary, from Greece again, from Canada, from Spain, from Russia, and from Germany. This kind of international group was typical of the day. Here is our first Chinese victor, as far as I know, ever at the NEMEA Games. And then it was time for the victors, individual victors who had been collecting their palm branches and their ribbons of victory to come out to receive the ancient traditional crown of wild celery, the wild celery on which the baby Opheltes died. The group coming out to get their crowns of wild celery from the judges, who are played by 10 ambassadors to Greece from 10 different countries, plus you can't make her out very easily here, the priestess of Demeter. Winners line up, their names are called out, they come forward to get their crown of wild celery, as precious to them as gold medal to anyone. We had a problem. When I invited the ambassadors to Greece to participate with us, the ambassador of Chile said yes, she wanted to participate. As you know, in antiquity, women were not allowed at the ancient games. Although we allowed women competitors, we hadn't considered how to handle a woman judge. Fortunately, the one woman who was allowed at the Olympic Games was the priestess of Demeter. And so you see the ambassador of Chile here playing the role of priestess of Demeter. Time for the closing ceremonies. The priestess of Demeter comes forward to put the finishing touches on the earth that's going to cover the flame. And you see the symbol of the 1996 Games at NEMEA, the 2000 Games at NEMEA. 2 weeks from today, the Society will decide on the 2004 Games. Anticipate that they're going to decide to make them as even more authentic, and that is that they will be held as in antiquity at the second full moon after the summer solstice in the year 2004. That means, mark it on your calendar, July the 31st of 2004, just 10 days before the start of the Olympic Games in Athens.